Welcome back to Veteran Game, where we get hands-on with the latest, toughest, and weirdest games, so you know what's actually worth your precious time. If you love deep dives, honest reviews, and the kind of games that will absolutely chew you up and spit you out, you're in the right place. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's jump into Empyreal, the new looter slasher ARPG making waves for all the right and wrong reasons. Empyreal is the debut game from UK-based Silent Games, a small indie team aiming high with a sci-fi action RPG that promises deep build crafting, handcrafted levels, tons of loot, and a brutal challenge. You play as a mercenary landing on an alien world dominated by the monolith, a massive ziggurat-like structure humming with mystery, lost civilization energy, and a whole lot of dangerous robots. This isn't just another Diablo clone. Empyreal blends classic ARPG loot and gear systems, Souls-like combat, a unique level selection cartogram mechanic, and a tone somewhere between Metroid Prime and Destiny. The atmosphere is immediately impressive. The monolith feels massive and intimidating. The world is strange and ancient, and the sound design does so much heavy lifting with deep hums, distant echoes, and an ominous vibe that makes you feel small. That first walk up to the monolith hits hard, almost overwhelming, and it sets the stage perfectly. The story is pretty basic. You're a mercenary brought in after a failed expedition. There's a crisis, a mysterious past, and a handful of NPCs at your base, a grumpy leader, a quirky merchant, the usual lineup. Honestly, you won't be playing Empyreal for its plot or characters. The script mostly exists to get you back out into the monolith to fight, loot, and upgrade. Most of your time with the cast is spent upgrading gear, swapping cartograms, and prepping for the next run. Where Empyreal gets interesting is its gameplay loop. The cartogram system is the heart of everything. You earn these cards that set the biome, boss, loot pool, and elemental theme for your next run. Pick your cartogram, gear up, and head out. Levels are hand-designed, not random, so there are shortcuts, secrets, and clever layouts if you pay attention. Each run is about 10 to 20 minutes, sending you through beautiful but dangerous ruins, jungles, deserts, and alien tech zones, always with loot hidden in corners and multiple paths to explore. At the end, there's a boss, usually with a cinematic intro, always ready to wreck you. Win or lose, you return to the hub to spend your haul, reroll your stats, and obsessively plan your next run. Now here's the catch, Empyreal is hard. The game will call a run very easy and then drop you dead in seconds if your build isn't right or you make a mistake. Skill alone won't save you. You need to know the systems inside out, pay attention to buffs, and manage your gear down to the last stat. Combat is satisfying in its best moments but can get chaotic fast. Every enemy telegraphs their attacks with a bar above their head, so you can time parries or dodges, but with multiple enemies things get wild. There's no lock-on, which means you're constantly wrestling the camera and it's easy to get overwhelmed. Sometimes it's genuinely exhilarating, other times it's just plain frustrating. There are three main weapons: glaive for fast hits and dashes, mace and shield for defensive play and stuns, and the cannon, which turns Empyreal into a third-person shooter for a bit. Each weapon has unique abilities and combos, and you can unlock a variety of skills for them: big AoE stuns, elemental bursts, all sorts of crowd control. Gear drops in classic loot colors and can be heavily modded and re-rolled using orbs and materials you find. There's a deep system for customizing builds, swapping loadouts, and chasing the perfect stat distribution. Min-maxers will absolutely lose themselves in this system. You can swap elemental affinities, boost damage, and even create sets tailored to bosses. But even with great gear, Empyreal stays brutal. Sometimes it feels like gear and builds matter more than raw skill, especially in late game content. If you hit a wall, you may need to grind for hours just to push ahead. This will thrill some players and drive others away. If you love the just one more run loot grind, Empyreal will hook you. If you're looking for a smoother curve, you may bounce. Replayability is huge. There's new game plus, higher level cartograms, secret endings, NPC duels, and an epilogue if you want to go deep. Asynchronous multiplayer adds some flavor. You can gift respawns to player ghosts, or send loot through portals for stat boosts, which is a neat nod to Nier Automata. It's quirky and it does make the world feel more connected, even though there's no actual co-op or PvP. But let's talk about the flaws. Empyreal is rough in spots. Animations are janky, frame rates can dip even on good hardware, and the UI is a bit messy. Visuals swing from gorgeous to bland, especially in the hub or with basic enemy models. Early game enemy variety is lacking, and some of the more interesting designs are locked behind late game progress. The game's punishing difficulty and lack of direction, no map, no waypoints, spotty tutorials, can be a huge barrier. You'll die to misunderstandings, random off-screen attacks, or just missing some obscure system that was barely explained. And then there's the debate about whether Empyreal is tough but fair. Sometimes it's genuinely unfair. Enemies teleporting, bosses spamming minions, key mechanics mapped to awkward buttons. It's the kind of game where you'll have just one more run highs and then need to walk away for the night because you're genuinely frustrated. The balance isn't always there, and some runs will feel like they're stacked against you, no matter how much you prepare. So, who is Empyreal really for? If you love build crafting, loot grinding, and mastering weird systems, even when they don't always make sense, Empyreal will grab you. It rewards persistence, creativity, and a stubborn refusal to give up. The payoff when you finally topple a tough boss after hours of failure is incredible. But if you want a game that respects your time, tells a great story, or doesn't punish you for tiny mistakes, you might not last long. Empyreal isn't perfect, it's ambitious, raw, and sometimes exhausting. But for a first outing from a tiny indie studio, it's also confident, unique, and full of potential. The Cartogram system, the deep loot, and that addictive just one more try loop kept me coming back, sometimes despite myself. That's the honest take from Veteran Game. If you made it this far, let us know in the comments, did Empyreal hook you, or did you bounce off the grind? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you want more no BS game reviews and deep dives. Until next time, keep your parries tight, your loot legendary, and your cartograms rolling. See you on the next run.